Thank you for joining the Nashoba Valley Chamber Chat. My name is Melissa Fetterhoff, and today I am joined by Jeff Roberge from MassHire North Central Workforce Board and Staci Johnson from MassHire North Central Career Center.
Perfect.
Yay!
Yay.
That's a mouthful.
It sure is.
Yeah.
So Jeff, we're going to start with you. Talk to us a little bit about what is the Workforce Board? What do you guys do? And what's been going on?
Great. Melissa, thank you so much for having us on today. I'm very excited to talk a lot about what the board does, and Staci can fill everybody in on what the Career Center is doing to serve the community. The Workforce Board essentially is an entity that has been put together to make sure that job seekers, businesses in our region, job seekers in our region, and our education partners like community colleges are working together to serve the overall workforce development needs of our region. So we're the North Central Workforce Board. We cover the 23 towns and cities surrounding essentially Leominster and Fitchburg. And our primary responsibility is to oversee the operations at the Career Center, manage federal and state dollars that come into the region to support workforce development initiatives. Apart from the federal and state money that comes in to operate the Career Center and manage all of those services, we are always on the lookout for workforce development grants. There's a lot of grants that come out that support certain sectors of the workforce. So our responsibility is to be aware of those grants, get the partners together who can serve to provide training, connect with employers who are going to do the hiring, and put forth those applications to bring money into the region. Everything that we do is driven by a regional blueprint. So the Commonwealth, I want to say maybe 2-3 years ago, determined that they wanted regional blueprints developed. And they charged the workforce boards with designing those blueprints. So the blueprints we look at labor market information, we look at our employer base, we look at the demographics of our job seekers and our communities, and we put forth the regional blueprint, which identifies priority industries. So the priority industries in our region are healthcare related occupations, obviously, manufacturing, related occupations, and transportation and logistics occupations, which obviously feeds into manufacturing in many different ways. Apart from those three priority industries, we also identify what we call critical industries. So critical industries are not from a labor market standpoint where the highest need is, but obviously all communities are autonomous and all communities provide employment opportunities in a variety of different ways. So we'll, critical industries and right now, because of what's happening with COVID-19, hospitality and retail. So now, although we're still serving our priority occupational sectors, we have to pay very close attention to what's happening with hospitality and retail. So essentially, our job is to make sure that the money is flowing, that employers are getting employees that are well trained and are able to support our region's economy, and that we are paying very close attention to the needs of the job seekers. And if there's skills gaps or training gaps, identifying what they are, working with our education folks to design trainings, modify trainings, introduce new potential careers. I mean, with all this virtual stuff, right. Potentially there could be other types of jobs that businesses need. Things like internet security, all of those types of things as we sort of move through this. That's what the board does. So we have 32 members on the workforce board. The board is consisted of employers, educators, our other state agencies like the Mass Rehab Commission, Department of Transitional Assistance, Mass Commission for the Blind, our chambers like yourself, because obviously you and I working very closely together because you have the pulse of what's going on with all the employers and their needs, that you and I are working together to make sure that when training or opportunities can support what's happening with the chamber, you're part of that process. You're part of that conversation. So we're working to essentially serve the community. So in short, that's what the board does.
That was short. That was short.
Listen, I could talk a lot longer, and then I'm watching you nodding off and all that, falling asleep. So I got through it. You guys are still watching, so that's good.
It's a lot. You guys have a lot of responsibility and a lot that you do for the community. So I've appreciated working with you. How long have you been at?
I will be with the board 2 years in September.
It's been a great 2 years.
It's been fantastic. I love every second of it.
You've done a lot for the region with regards to grants, lots of great opportunities. You have a great team. One of the other team members is right here. So Staci, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Oh my goodness. So I am the operations manager for the Career Center. So as Jeff said, he oversees our operations. So he and I work very closely together. He's actually kind of my boss, but not really. He doesn't do my evaluation, thank goodness. But we have been really effective in getting our operation up and running virtually. My team here, they just have been fantastic. I mean, we started in December with WebEx trainings through the state. And I think we got 3 in before COVID hit and just had to run with it. So the staff that I have just been fantastic at getting used to WebEx and Zoom and using that tool and providing our Career Center services, all of them virtually. So our customer flow is the same. So people come through, register on our JobQuest website, and then they come in go do a webinar for our Career Center seminar, so they get the overview of the services. And then after that, they're contacted by a staff member who then speaks with them about what their wants and their needs are. All of our workshops are now up and running virtually. We have resume interviewing using Age to Your Advantage. We have LinkedIn, and we coping with job loss. And then we started a few others. We still have more to come. We're developing new workshops based on job searching in COVID-19. So that's part of what we do. Part of our responsibility too, as Jeff said, is to train the workforce for the needs of the employers in the area. As you might imagine, based on what people are receiving from unemployment right now, we're not seeing an awful lot of people taking advantage of the services, although we're still doing outreach all the time. So we're hoping we get more people to, because we still have money to spend as far as training dollars, and we want to make sure that the workforce is ready to ramp up when everything ramps up. I mean, that's really kind of what we're tasked with. So that's the job seeker side of the house. And then we have a gentleman who works here. His name is Scott Percival, and he's our business service representative. He is fantastic at what he does. He has great relationships with the employers in this area, and he makes contact with the employers to determine what their needs are and try to fill their job openings with the people that are using our services, as well as giving them information on what kind of grants are out there for them. So he's very effective in that. And Scott was the first BSR in the state to conduct a virtual job fair, and I'm very proud of that fact. He is really dynamite. He just really does a great job, and he's really committed to the employers in this area. So I am really proud to have him on my team. I'm proud of all my team members. So that's what we do.
We've been working with Scott for, I don't even know how many years, however many years he's been at North Central. And we've done, as you know, the Nashoba Valley Chamber does 2 job fairs a year. And we've been fortunate to work with Scott directly on those, and then other folks from your department, your team. But Scott is our main key person there and for that. And he is absolutely amazing. And he's great at connecting with the businesses and trying to, really get in there and help them. So I agree. Great. He he is a win for your team as well.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
Melissa, your job fairs are spectacular. I mean, I know the work that you guys do, bringing people to the table. I mean, they're just an incredible resource for all the folks that you work with at the chamber. I mean, we love the relationship that we have within the Nashoba Valley Chamber. You're sort of, we know here that you're the go-to. You are always somebody who steps up with us to try and figure things out, find ways that we can, make, how we say it, we want to add value to our employers. We want to make sure that our communities know that we're a value add, the services we have, the resources that the chamber has, that the board has, the Career Center. So, I mean, it's always nice when you know that you have somebody that's a phone call away or now a Zoom away, like yourself, where we say, here's this grant, or here's this opportunity, or we know that these employers really need people and they just don't know, they can't find them. And we just are able to connect all those dots. That's such a huge thing. So thank you to you for everything you're doing.
Well, we thank you for the partnership as well, both of you. We've had a great relationship, I think, for so many years, and we love working with you and being able to, be a partner and be a resource and do whatever we can really to help. I think that all of our job right here is just to help businesses succeed, and so together we can do that. So.
Yeah, 100%.
There is such a sense of uncertainty right now. I mean, employers don't even know if they're going to be able to ever get back to where they were. We know that you hear it all the time, companies that unfortunately are really struggling and aren't sure what the future holds. And if the three of us in some way can just be that beacon of hope or to somehow offer something, I mean, it's about economic development. I mean, It's a big picture. And ultimately, it's about making sure the citizens, the folks that are living in these cities and towns can raise their families, can feel, make sure that their kids stay in the same school systems. They don't have to sell their houses. They don't, all of that stuff. And that's essentially what we do. So, yeah. Absolutely.
What have we not talked about that people need to know?
I think I'll say one more thing about the board in the Career Center. We are open for business. Now, right now, the Career Center is closed to the public as far as face-to-face operations, but the Career Center is still, as Staci mentioned, we are providing all of the services virtually. If there are job seekers or employers out there that need assistance, they can reach out directly to Staci, who can connect them with Scott. We can guide job seekers into the virtual systems that we have set up to get access to resources, to connect with a career counselor. So yes, like most other businesses, the doors are not open, but we are not closed. We have worked very hard over the last 12 weeks to move everything that we do virtually. So people can still get a hold of us. They can still contact us if they have any questions about finding employees, what type of grant resources are out there, job seekers who just aren't sure because they may have to change careers or get a different type of training. Those services are still available and they can absolutely reach out to us for any questions and help. One other thing I will reiterate is that the Department of Unemployment Assistance, obviously through this whole process, has been overwhelmed. Yeah. They went through a process where, I want to say 750,000 people, and I don't even know if that number is, lost their jobs and were accessing a service. Mm-hmm. Initially, the MassHire system provided support in helping people get into the virtual system at DUA. DUA now has a virtual system for unemployment. Everything with regards to unemployment can be done virtually through the DUA website. They have a call-in number that people can call if they have questions with their claim or anything like that. I'll reiterate that, especially here in Leominster, we are not able to field people coming down here with DUA-related things. So just for safety of the public, we just stress it. Access goes through virtually. If you have problems with the claim, a password issue, any of those things. They have systems now that are operating that can help people through that process. We know it's frustrating. We know that, but it's getting a lot better. They've hired, God, Staci, how many people were hired?
1,200.
Wow.
Yeah.
1,200 people
And
were
still
hired.
hiring.
Wow.
And still hiring.
Yeah.
Not all state workers, just so you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
1,200. Yep. They went from 50 people statewide to 1,200.
And one thing that we had talked about before was that they are also working virtually, though. They're not going into a building, a building necessarily. So some of these folks are working from their homes. So I know that one issue in the beginning was that if people were calling in, but their number was blocked because they're calling from their homes. And so, of course, these folks, don't need to give out their personal home phone numbers to, the constituents. But so they're working through things, though. But they definitely are fixing things, learning, and everybody's coming up to speed. And they're, like you say, there are resources and they are helping. They are available for help. It's just have some patience. Definitely.
Yeah. So initially, just like every other business in the Commonwealth, DUA had to get up and running. So when the first day that 20,000 claims were filed, essentially what happened was the call center crashed because it wasn't designed to take that kind of volume in one day.
Right.
So, it took DUA some time to get their technology up. So yes, initially we were making callbacks from a Google Voice, but
Okay.
now there is a dedicated app that we use. It's Amazon Connect, and the number that shows up is the call center number when we're calling people back. So it doesn't say, it depends on what phone it comes in on. If it's Verizon, it looks different. If it's Sprint, but basically it's the call center number, which is 617-626-6800. So it doesn't always display like DUA or Department of War, whatever.
Yeah.
But every call that's going out now should be coming from that number. So I went from Google Voice to that number myself because I was doing some stuff for DUA as well. And it was much more effective with the DUA number. People were actually picking up the phone.
Yeah.
So thankfully they got, but just like anybody else, and that's cumbersome. It's government, so it's cumbersome. But they really did a great job of getting those systems in place pretty quickly.
Yes.
Probably wasn't quick for constituents, but trust me, I've worked for government for a long time. It was quick.
Very. Yes. Agreed. Yeah. Great. Well, anything else that we missed? Well, I think that Scott had another virtual career fair that he was working on.
What was it? Today's Friday. Yesterday, Thursday, we Remake 4.0, which is
Okay.
a board manufacturing initiative in partnership with the Central Mass Workforce Board and roughly 52 partners, employers through the Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development. We put together what we call Remake 4.0, and it was a virtual job fair specific to manufacturing. So yesterday we had 28 manufacturers in the region and who were part of the virtual job fair that posted all of their jobs. It was all through a dedicated website at remakema.com. Scott helped us put that together because Scott was the first one in the state doing virtual job fairs. So when we wanted to do this for manufacturing, we went right to Scott and said, okay, how'd you do this? So he helped us design it. And we look forward to do a lot. Scott's, always thinking about another way we can, do virtual job fairs or keep doing virtual job fairs. So, yep, that was last Thursday, and more to come. We'll keep getting out there for these employers.
And if you,
I'm sorry, I think he's planning one in July, early
Okay.
July, late June. So,
but if you missed the job fair, is there information on the website about for these companies that are hiring?
Yes, we'll do a follow up. The to list who the companies were, who the hiring managers were. Essentially what we're trying to do with our virtual job fairs is have the companies connect with us. The jobs are put up on a specific website. And then what's happening is we ask the companies to dedicate an HR person for that hour time block, 2-hour time block. So if a job seeker goes on, identifies a specific job that they're interested in, they can email the HR person directly at that point in time, including their, either fill out the application that's attached to the link or send their resume, and the HR person is responding to them in real time.
That's great.
So it's sort of like when we do the job fairs and you go up to a table and you speak with somebody, we're trying to simulate the best way that we can. Now, I will say the state is looking at purchasing virtual job fair software that all career centers will be able to use that'll be a little bit more high tech. I mean, we put this thing together just trying to figure out the best way to connect folks, but we've been having what we call road to reemployment meetings, where we're stressing the notion that we're going to continue to have to operate virtually, and then therefore we should be utilizing a professional product that all the career centers use, that all of workforce development under MassHire is using, branded and all that stuff.
Right.
But it's like a professional virtual job fair software. So they've looked at a bunch of companies. I think they're narrowing it down to which one they're going to move forward with and purchase, and then we'll be able to get a license to do that.
Right.
So.
Yes.
Exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah, some of them are pretty cool. It's like the way it's set up, it's like you're walking through a job fair, and there's tables and there's like virtual people and all. I mean, yeah, some of the software gets pretty technical. I doubt the state will pay for the Cadillac version, but
We don't need the Cadillac version.
Right.
We just want to make sure that we're helping connect the job seekers to the jobs that are out there. Doesn't need to be over fancy.
Right.
Right.
Nope.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys for joining me today. And for those that are watching, if I can help make connections, let me know. And I look forward to a time that I can see you guys in person, hopefully soon. Maybe go to a restaurant and enjoy a beverage.
That would be
Or
lovely.
2 or 3, yes.
That would be lovely.
Right? Oh, so. Well, thank you guys.
Thanks for having us on.
Melissa, thank you very much. I just one last plug for the Nashoba Valley Chamber of Commerce. You do a wonderful job. It's great working with you, and they're lucky to have you over there. And we're certainly lucky to have you as part of the work we do. So thank you very much for today.
Thank you. I would say the exact same to you both. So thank you.